day by day. The way of the thrift warriors can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Hey guys, Bix Weir, roadtoruler.com. Let's talk about silver and national defense and the reason that market manipulation is 100% allowed and covered for by the CFTC and the U.S. government. As you can see today, both silver and gold are getting slammed out of nowhere. We all know there's no silver left to be found, very little left to be found. Premiums are through the roof, over $20, and yet silver just dropped below $15. Why is that allowed, and is it legal? Yes, it is legal. It is legal. 1934 Gold Act. It authorized the Exchange Stabilization Fund to control any markets, for the good of the nation, and that is coming to play right now. Let's talk about Trump's executive order on delegating authority under the DPA, which is the Defense Protection Act, with respect to food supply chain resources during the national emergency caused by the COVID outbreak. I 100% agree with Trump that the left and the bad guys are going after the food supply, so he's going to defend it. Good job. He can do the same thing with silver. Yes, he can confiscate all the silver, change this to executive order delegating authority under the DPA with respect to silver during the national emergency caused by the COVID-19 outbreak. Would he go after individual silver? I doubt it. There isn't enough out there. Not many people are invested in silver, believe it or not. Would he go after the J.P. Morgan hoard of over 1 billion ounces of physical silver? Absolutely. Would he go after the SLV hoard? I think it's 300 million ounces or so, maybe 400 now. Absolutely. Would he go after ETFs that hold silver? I think he would. Any large outcropping of silver, they will go after. Silver is 100% probably the most important commodity metal to the U.S. national defense. And has been for a long, long time. A long, long time. Do you remember this article from the Road to Ruta? The great silver mystery revealed. How they needed, 3 billion ounces of physical silver to make the first atomic bomb? Go to roadtoruler.com, look up the Great Silver Mystery. There's a little search area right there. The Great Silver Mystery Revealed. There's the Y-12 facility, Oak Ridge, Tennessee, where they made the enriched uranium. There's all the silver melted down into these gigantic magnets. This is all admitted to by our government, and they said specifically that they weren't going to tell the people. They were going to hide it from the people. There's when they had to tear it down in the 1990s to get the silver out, to go into the market and dump the silver on the market. And my conclusion at the first conclusion was half a billion, or 470 million ounces. Then I read the book, this amazing book by the guy who was in charge of the Manhattan Project, General Leslie Groves, that said they had to go back for more silver because the first Y-12 thing didn't quite work well, and they needed a lot of enriched uranium. Here's the quotes from the book, page 107. Now, this guy is the guy in charge of the Manhattan Project, General Leslie M. Groves. He wrote this book, and here's what he wrote. Page 107, the administration decided that the need for copper should be reduced by substituting it for silver borrowed from the U.S. Treasury. First of all, silver is a much better conductor of electricity. Let's just let that lie. It was the lie, but that's fine. Just like the lie they said they tore down after the war. Also on page 107, Colonel Marshall thereupon called upon the Secretary of the Treasury, Daniel Bell. Mr. Bell said that he might be able to make some 47,000 tons of silver free, together with 39,000 tons more, which could be released from the backup of silver certificates if Congress authorized its use through appropriate legislation, which Congress did. So the silver certificates in the 1940s were backed by nothing, because all that silver had to be moved out of the warehouses of the United States government into this production facility called Y12 at the Manhattan Project in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And, quote, very interesting, that amount of silver offered up was available for lending was not only the 500 million ounces or so, but rather 2.75 billion ounces. Makes me wonder how much silver they used in Y12. Crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy. Page 107, page 108. Under the terms of the final agreement, the silver required by the project was to be withdrawn from the West Point Depository. 6 months after the end of the war, an equal amount of silver would be returned to the Treasury. It was further agreed that no information would be given to the press on the removal of the silver, and the Treasury would continue to carry it on their daily balance sheets. There it is. Yes, silver's 100% a military secret. Everybody has to be knowledgeable that the United States government, one of their number one rigging jobs, besides oil, besides gold, the number one rigging job is silver. Silver has been the number one rigging job for over 100 years. Page 109. Listen to this. Many of the precautions we took were aimed at primarily concealing our interest in silver. That is what's been going on forever. Here's the original balance sheet of 65 million ounces that came out. There's all kinds of these sheets out there. This is, remember, there was no computers to do all this stuff. Everything was done manually. All accounting was done manually. And it's all right there. So yes, here's the conclusions I had back then. These passages provide undeniable proof that official U.S. bullion holdings have been lent out in the past. Think gold right now. Absolutely. Not only lent out, rehypothecated. Number two, the withdrawal of U.S. reserve bullion has been intentionally blocked from the mainstream press. Number three, silver bullion that was backing silver certificates was not in the vault at the time for possible redemption by silver certificate holders. Number four, the secret transfer of physical bullion out of the U.S. Treasury has been approved and authorized by both the U.S. administration and by the U.S. Congress in the past. Number five, the U.S. bullion holdings have been fraudulently accounted for on U.S. books, which is approved and authorized by both the U.S. administration and by U.S. Congress. Number six, it is possible that the U.S. lent 5 or 6 times more silver to the project than I originally believed, which would explain how long the silver rigging game has been going on. Absolutely, 100%, yes, the U.S. government continues to make silver the number one price suppression scheme for various reasons. All this facility was shut down in the 90s, and they brought that silver back into the public. I have shown 100 different ways. It's all public record, too. But you need to think about the significance of silver when you're looking at an executive order from Trump. Now, do I think he will steal individuals' silver? No, I do not. Do I think he will confiscate silver from criminals? Yes, he already said he was going to do that with the executive order from back, I think it was in December or last December, saying that any criminals are going to lose all their booty. Think silver, think gold, and think cryptos when you're thinking of U.S. confiscation of assets. Real assets. Those are the 3 big real assets that can save us. Silver, gold, and cryptos. That can save you from the crashing electronic monetary system. Crashing global, unbacked fiat monetary system. One more thing I want to show you. If you go to theroadtoruta.com and go down in the resources section, right here. Click on that. All kinds of good stuff in there. Grand Canyon Gold, history of Bitcoin, geoengineering, chemtrails, all the documentation from the past. Deep Capture, Patrick Byrne presentation. You got to watch that one. DTCC information, Exchange Stabilization Fund, all the wishes and rainbows, documents out of the Fed Boston, 9/11 information. But look down here at the bottom. U.S. military silver analysis. This fight has been going on a long time within the military and within the government. In the 1970s, FEMA was looking to dump all the U.S. silver. They held silver back in the 70s as part of their reserves. They had silver reserve, they had gold reserves, and FEMA and the dark forces, the criminals, are trying to get rid of it. And at first, the GAO, the General Accounting GOA, what's it called? Hold on a second. It's right here. GAO, General Accounting Administration. No, General Accounting, whatever it is. The accountant for the U.S., right? Here's the 3 documents. The first document says, yeah, we got to get rid of the silver surplus. There's no military significance for it. It came out on April 1979. This is National Defense Requirements for a Silver Stockpile. The strategic and critical material stockpile prevents a dangerous and costly dependence on foreign supplies during a national emergency. Presently, the 139.5 million troy ounces of silver, which is less than what's traded every day on the COMEX now, by the way, of silver is included in the stockpile, are not required because the probable wartime supply exceeds projected U.S. requirements. What? That's crazy. This report describes a methodology the Federal Preparedness Agency, that's the precursor to FEMA, used to determine U.S. needs for silver. The report was requested by the Subcommittee on Military Construction and Stockpiles, Senate Committee on Armed Forces. This was all about controlling the price of silver. Let's dump silver into the market. Remember when this was written? 1979. What was happening in 1979? Silver had gone from $1 back in 1971 up to $50. It was going boom. This is part of the takedown. They said, hey, let's sell whatever silver we have in the defense stockpile. That's crazy. It was so crazy that people came out and say, wait. Your analysis is bullshit. Same people, the GAO. Using the 1978 Federal Emergency Management Agency data, Congress authorized disposal of over 105 million troy ounces, or about 75% of the 139.5 million troy ounces of silver in the National Defense Stockpile. However, this disposal has been suspended pending the July 1st, 1982 redetermination that the silver is excess to stockpile requirements. GAO found that conditions have changed since 1978. Basically, you got a new president and he's looking out for America. This was Reagan. Projected defense-related demand for silver has increased, while silver from existing domestic mines and processors has decreased. GAO has also examined alternatives to disposing of silver by auction and found that a bullion coinage program appeared to be an attractive alternative to be considered. Yes, that is the Silver Eagle program put into place in 1987 to get real money into the hands of the people. The GAO recommends a number of factors the director, FEMA, should consider in making the legislatively required redetermination to dispose of silver. Congress should also consider requiring the Department of Treasury to study the bullion coinage alternative. 1987 it came out. Barney Frank was the guy who introduced the Silver and Gold Coinage Act. And then again in 1983, silver is so important to the United States. Unresolved issue concerning the disposal of the stockpile. Fiscal year 1982, Defense Appropriations Act suspended the weekly auctions of silver stockpile pending 1, a redetermination that the silver to be disposed is excess to stockpile requirements, and 2, congressional approval of any proposed disposal method. In the interim, comments by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Department of Defense on January 1st, 1982, GAO report raises new issues that the GAO believes will be addressed and resolved in reevaluating the need for stockpiled silver and in exporting alternative disposal methods. Exploring. Unresolved issues include the lack of consideration of defense-related monetary issues of silver. Anybody at the government tells you, we don't care about silver and gold. Bullshit. Inadequacies in the decision-making database related to legislative mandated supply factors. That is absolutely the deep state behind the scenes, trying to get rid of one of the only precious assets the United States held. Not only. They held the gold, 8,000 tons, big deal. That's not that much gold. More than that trades every day on the COMEX and the LBM. The viability of various alternative disposal methods such as bullion coins and convertible bonds backed by silver. That was 1983 and 1987 is when the American Eagle Coinage Act was signed and put into law. Anybody who thinks silver is no big deal to the United States needs to look at history, needs to understand silver in a monetary sense. Silver is and always has been a monetary metal. It's been used by humanity since the beginning of humanity. Silver has been used as money a hell of a lot more than gold has been used as money. Now, will it return as money? I don't know. I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough silver to use it as money, and I think it's too important in the industrial side of things now. In the last 100 years, the industrial consumption of silver has risen dramatically. Silver doesn't go away. People keep saying, oh no, there's not that much silver left in the world. The exact amount of silver is still left in the world, unless they figured a way how to deconstruct silver atoms. It's probably a way, but they haven't done that. They've cut it into little pieces and put it in old stereo phones and RCA record players and camera, film, all that stuff. Silver's been broken up into little bitty pieces. So there's not that much available anymore. There's still 60 billion or so ounces on planet Earth, but you can't get to them. They're not in any kind of investable form, obviously. Some of it is. Maybe 3 billion ounces. 6 billion if you count all the other silver that you can get, like cups and saucers and silverware, and go to all the churches and silver artwork and things like that. Maybe 6 billion ounces is the estimate. How much gold is there in the world? Let's been mined. About 6 billion ounces. The gold-silver ratio above ground is 1-to-1. The gold-silver ratio in ground is 10-to-1, around there. The gold-silver ratio on the COMEX is 110-to-1. 110 ounces of silver buys you 1 ounce of gold. It will go to 4-to-1 at some point. Anything over 100 is just stupid. And this price rigging is exactly what the U.S. government has authorized and will continue to do until they're ready not to. And when they're ready not to, that is the bank killer. And yes, there are people within the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Treasury that want to kill the old system. That you get from the Road to Ruta document. Bring back the colored flowers. Gold and silver will take a much more prominent role in our monetary system in the coming months as the old system breaks down in year 0 and we begin a new system. So, if you want to go buy silver, go to your local coin shop. That's the best place to go. Your local coin shop, buy them out of their inventory. They're going to be asking $20+. It's better than not having it. Or send Andy Scheckman an email at Miles Franklin. Andy at milesfranklin.com. He's helped a lot of Road to Ruta people get their hands on physical silver. It's so important that you get it in your hands. And tell Andy, hey, what can you ship today? He can get other stuff for you, but it might take a while, and then you have no idea if it's going to get there. If he can ship it right away, that's the stuff you want. He's going to give you a good price, too. Andy at milesfranklin.com. Send him an email. There's your update on silver. Yes, that silver's smashing down is ridiculous. It's Steve Mnuchin, the head of IT at Goldman Sachs, the head of computer market rigging, clicking his little mouse. Same with gold. The gold, look at gold. It's 3 times, 2.5 times the 1980 highs. 2 times, a little over 2, the 1980 highs. Silver is 1/3 of its 1980 highs. That's how important silver is to rig over gold. And they're going to continue rigging it until the very last day. And the last day is the shutdown of the COMEX, the shutdown of the LBMA, and then we will see that $600 silver that Cliff Heisman Bix Weir.